or have an adventure of enjoying tourism. But that's what we are going to be discussing on today's episode of the show. Our topic of today is going to be wildlife adventure. Yeah, it's more about tourism, right? And today, of course, no other person I can invite on the show apart from one of the finest conservation scientists we have around Central Africa and maybe the world at large. I'm talking about Mr. Louis Kembi, who, of course, have squeezed his time to come and join us on today's platform. And he's like, I'm not the only person you should invite. I say, yes, sir, this one you must come because this is your field. So we are happy to have you again on today's episode of the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And today it's about conservation, it's about tourism, adventure. I don't know, how do you feel about this topic when I told you today's going to be this topic and you were like, not me again? But do you feel comfortable? How do you feel about the topic? Do you think it's timely to talk about wildlife adventure?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Wildlife adventures are just part and parcel of the global spectrum of wildlife conservation.
Oh.
And I'm happy because I have studied tourism in protected areas in the United States.
Oh.
And I've been moving across East Africa to understand how tourism functions. And so wildlife adventures is simply another way of saying that we move around to watch wildlife where they are.
And it's always so exciting. It's always such a beautiful experience to go visit these protected areas. But I must say, sir, that it's nowadays we don't really see some of those adventures, and our younger people don't experience those things.
You are right, and especially here in the
in this part of the country,
in the Anglophone Cameroon.
For
the last 8 years. The region has been going through a series of catastrophic, disasters. Humanitarian disasters, and younger generation are afraid to move around because they may be confused for the non-state actors. But generally, Cameroonians, the number of tourists, internal tourists, is significantly inferior to the number of external tourists who move around to visit other sites in Cameroon. And I really encourage Cameroonians to move around in Cameroon, in Africa.
Yeah, I think so too. But sir, you said the past 8 years Cameroon has been going through Anglophone crisis. Does it mean that the wild too have been going through the same crisis?
Not just Anglophone Cameroon, but also we have the northern Cameroon where the Boko Haram had savaged, had caused plenty of trouble there. The issue that yes, the wild, we may not want to make very categorical statements, saying that the presence of this civil strife it's engendering the collapse of the wildlife in these areas. No, we don't want to make such kind of statements because they can just be empty statements without any verification. But there's one thing that remains clear is that wildlife still remains where they are. We just currently recommissioned the survey of wildlife across the Libyan Highlands.
Wow.
We want to know how many gorillas are left, how many chimpanzees are left. And I think other wildlife organizations like the Wildlife Conservation Society and others are doing the same thing in other locations. And definitely they are there, but we need to have ideas on numbers.
Wow. Talking about how many gorillas and how many chimpanzees are left in the Libyan Highlands. So I'm trying to look at the probability. Now these people live in the dense forest, like deep forest. How is your team? And I believe that your team are mostly students of the Erudef University Forum. Some of them is part of the team. Now how are they going to get those? Is it going to be part of the adventure we are talking about?
Yes, I think many of them are just excited to get into the tropical forest.
I remember one of them told me, I want to see the animal. I'm going to see animals. I'm going to see chimpanzees. Okay.
Yeah, so wildlife adventures are quite exciting, and we invite everybody, not just the younger generation, to be part of the wildlife travels across the key biodiversity hotspots in Cameroon, at least for Cameroon and in Central Africa.
Wow.
Why not go to East Africa? One thing which the African governments is doing now, they are doing is easing traffic restrictions. Visas are almost becoming nil.
Why?
Because they want to increase inter-African mobility. And
They want more people to come to Africa?
The more people visit your country, the more money enters into the country.
So rather than us going there, they want more people to instead come to the country.
Vice versa, we have been talking to the government of Cameroon to also kill visas for Africans. Come to Cameroon, see wildlife in northern Cameroon. Come to Cameroon, God. See wildlife in eastern Cameroon. Come into the southwest. We used to have the Mount Cameroon, and we still have the Mount Cameroon race every February.
We still have that.
How many wildlife species do we see? No, but this one is called nature tourism, because people come and climb the mountain. So it's part of the kind of wildlife things we do, but focus on nature.
Now, so we are talking about tourism here. You made a statement behind camera. You said wildlife is a conservation bonus to stakeholders. Can you throw some more light about that?
Yes, it's a conservation bonus. Because other incentives to wildlife conservation exist. And just because you've allowed wildlife to be there, people are coming from all over the world to come and view them and give you a lot more money. You just want to imagine the time when we begin to do habituation. Habituation is a process where humans come to see gorillas, chimpanzees, etc. And just for seeing one gorilla for 1 hour, you're probably going to pay 500,000.
Yeah, you pay a lot of money.
And that money goes to support communities, developments in the landscape, etc., etc. That's what we call wildlife bonus. You have not done any work on the animal. You just come to see it. And communities, the other role of communities is to make sure that these animals are not haunted.
They are protected.
Yes, they are protected. They are there, and day in, day out, hundreds of tourists coming. And this is what the backbone of the economy of Eastern and South African countries is tourism.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because you see, even the way we see it on TV, you look at the way they've arranged their touristic sites, like it's looking so exciting. But looking at our landscape, let's come to Cameroon. I feel like you are a specialist and conservation scientist. You have been in the field for quite a while, decade, and I feel like there's little or no much awareness raising on the importance of wildlife in our environment or ecosystem. And maybe that's why the younger generation, they are completely out of place. Because if you ask them now about wild, like they'll be like, I've seen it in movies. There is that passion is not there because maybe nobody has actually preached the gospel to them.
Yeah. It's the way we have designed our curricula in our schools.
Okay.
If the curricula is reformed in such a way that the younger generations in senior schools, in high schools, universities find enough time to be in the wild, then they will definitely begin to grow a lot of motivation. And interest. And I think before the set-in of the crisis, we at Erudef had set up a conservation experience for high school students. Wow. Conservation experience means we were taking a group of students into the forest for 2 weeks, 3 weeks to study wildlife in their nature. And I want to guarantee you that quite a good number of them had grown up through the process, become specialists. Quite a good number of them also have PhDs today in wildlife. And I think to increase their interest, their age, to become part and parcel of this conservation industry, we need to take them out to the field. I know a couple of students in a couple of universities take their students to the zoo in Limbe, but the zoo in Limbe is not in situ. The life of animals in zoos completely different from the life of animals in the wild. You derive as excitement. Just imagine when you see a chimpanzee approaching you and you have to kneel down and raise up your hands and to tell the chimpanzee, hey, please, I surrender. You are my brother. Yeah? You can't find that in the zoo.
It's really funny. I watched a video on social media where actually a park, and some parents came with their kids to watch this chimpanzee. The chimpanzee was like in the small water, and the baby mistakenly fall in that water. I was like, everybody was like, what is the chimpanzee going to do with this baby? And the chimpanzee was pulling the baby around the stream. So I was like, what could be going on in his mind? Is he playing with this baby or is he actually knows that? Because he wasn't harming the child, but he was taking the child around and people were just shouting. He was just running around. So at that point in time, what could be going in the psychology of that animal?
Yeah, I think, don't forget that chimpanzees are our closest human relatives. They have 98% of the chromosomes that we have.
Wow.
It's just a difference of 2%. While gorillas have 96% of the chromosomes that we have. So it means they're very close to us in terms of behavior. And they know exactly what is happening. Yeah.
Wow. Now, we are looking about the zoos and tourism and parks and all that. Why do you think, what role does zoo or parks play in let's say, in the wild? Or what particular role does this, what are the important, why is a zoo or park important to the wild? Because we know that the wild should belong to the forest, where they belong, but now they are protected, they put them in a protected area. So how does that help them on the ecosystem?
If we take, for instance, the Limbe Zoo.
Yeah.
The Limbe Zoo or the Wildlife Center generally serves as a collection point of those species that have been threatened, that have been captured, and they have been captured by hunters, by poachers, and now conservationists, wildlife experts now seize these animals from them. And when they are seized from them, they cannot go back to the forest immediately.
Okay.
They need to go through another system of orientation, and they found themselves in zoos. And so they spend time. And the zoo specialists now have been trying, like the case of Limbe Zoo.
Yeah.
The zoo specialists have been trying over some years to look for locations where they have to relocate.
Yes,
these
Mr.
animals
said that last time.
These animals into the zoo. I mean, into the wild.
Into the wild.
And so zoos are simply temporary locations for captured animals. Temporary locations. In Europe and in North America, zoos are also centers of fundraising. I don't know how much money is being raised by the zoo in Limbe, but I guarantee you that if you go to the Bronze Zoo, I visited Bronze Zoo severally in New York and the other ones in UK. They raise hundreds of millions of dollars to support conservation in Africa and other parts of the world.
Wow.
And so that's one rule that because donors give to what they see, to where they have the pride to feel.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Donors generally don't give to people that they don't know. Donors don't sponsor things that they don't have a feel for.
Okay. They must have a feel for it, passion for it.
Exactly. And so in the Western world, that's one part of the zoo. The zoo is there as a center of fundraising for conservation projects around the world.
Wow. I think that's an amazing news for the younger generation, because if I train myself and become maybe one of the programs of ecotourism or wildlife conservation, after that, what do I do with it? What opportunities await me?
We can set up young people can set up eco-tours. Eco-tours are highly specialized groups of businesses. They're businesses. That they're not non-profits. They're businesses that are engaged in bringing tourists who are specialized in viewing wildlife, in viewing nature, to visit and appreciate nature. And they pay a lot of money. I just said a while ago, in East Africa, to view one gorilla in the mountain gorilla in the Virunga Mountains costs $500 for 1 hour. Not more than 1 hour.
Okay, you're just there, you view,
they take you there, you see the gorilla, and then you pay in $500. $500 is around $300,000 per hour.
And there are people willing to pay that
hundreds
money.
And hundreds of people. 30% or more of the foreign trade of these East African countries is derived from tourism, wildlife tourism. So we have the opportunity in Cameroon to do it, because from the north to the east of Cameroon to the southwest, we have a lot of wonderful opportunities that we simply need to take care of them, and young people can become part and parcel of this process.
Wow.
And gain jobs.
Wow.
Yes.
So if I'm going to come a little deeper, maybe investigative of your BLM wildlife project. Now you said that why the donor wants to know how many, okay, not donor, you say want to know how many gorillas are left in the forest, how many chimpanzees. Now when you do those research and those findings, how does it actually benefit the animals, and how can young people contribute into such an adventure?
What we do is now called conservation management.
Okay.
Because we want to make sure that these animals are not exploited and killed permanently. And so we recently, for instance, made call for applications.
Okay.
To recruit
young
people, young graduates to join us in the field.
In the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should train them.
I think that's an applaudable initiative. That's wild. Okay.
We are training them. A lot of wonderful opportunities and they're currently in the field, and many more of such opportunities are going to come up. We are going to start our work in Upper Bayang subdivision. Okay. And definitely we need young people from that part of my division. Okay. To join us, for us to conduct.
Okay, Upper Bayangi, does it mean they also have some good...
Yes, Upper Bayangi subsection is a corridor area that links the gorillas from the Milam into Takamanda National Park. Okay. And so I think the young people have opportunities, and these opportunities are being provided through Erudef.
Oh.
The Erudef University
Institute. Okay, through Erudef, the mother. Erudef, yes. Not the Erudef University Institute.
The Erudef University Institute is a training ground for those people who have no experience, no expertise, and they want to understand how to get engaged, how to grow through the process, etc. And we are there, and I think we are the only institution that provides a comprehensive training in biodiversity management.
Exactly.
Comprehensive. Not components. Yes.
And I want to ask this because I know that some students of Erudef University Institute are actually part of the team that are presently in BLM. Now, what are they going to do at this stage? What is expected of them at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, you need to have the experience on how to manage a wildlife project. Oh, wow. You have the experience on how, if you want to specialize in ecotourism, wildlife tourism, you also collect data, because to be able to manage, you need information. Okay. And part of the
research,
what they are doing in the field is collecting data, information on how these animals are living in the wild. The socio-ecology of gorillas, socio-ecology of chimpanzees, ecology of other species of wildlife. They need to know how they live, where they live, and how is the impact of the human beings on this species. Okay. We need all this information, because in order to design relevant management actions that will be able to save the animal.
Wow, it sounds like a movie, but it sounds like a movie, but it's real, because we hardly really see the reality on ground. We hardly really see people talking about animals in the wild just like that. Some of us read more about it in the Bible. Some of us watch it on movie, but it's really hard to really see it on ground. But it's like the university, Erudef University Institute is one of those universities that you don't only hear these things in class. You are opportune to get engaged in the forest and experience the wild.
Yes, that is our role. I have been interacting. I've been engaging with a lot of students from almost all of Cameroon universities, and none of them has had the experience to live wildlife in nature. They live wildlife in notebooks, in textbooks, in classrooms, in films, in the zoo in Limbe. The highest they may go is even to go to Limbe Zoo. No, here we live wildlife in nature. You live with them, you move with them, and you are able to understand them. If you don't do this, you cannot manage wildlife.
Wow. We have reactions from Tamatun Robinson Nongwo. He says, Grade 1, there are more grades. Special greetings from Bambalang, the land of abundance. All right, so thank you so much for watching. And of course, feel free to send us your reactions. The show is live on High TV page and live on High TV. We are actually talking about wildlife adventure. Now, sir, I want to dive now into, because my worry, my focus is tourism, and see how young people can integrate into the ecotourism and all that. Now, if, for example, your institution and somebody falls in love with such a wonderful wildlife, maybe say program, I want to be part of it. I want to enjoy the complete, because we understand that now youths are their minds are very open. If I study this thing, what do I gain? What does this thing take me to? I want to study wildlife, or I want to be into the tourism system. What is the journey like? And how does the future look? How would the future look like to such a young person or a student?
The future for those who are specialized in wildlife is always great. For those who are specialized in conservation, it's always great. There's a lot of demand for specialists in conservation.
Wow.
But we don't have those specialists. We have a lot of people who graduate from different universities in this country, but yet they are not specialists in wildlife. They are not specialists in conservation. You may even find schools that say that they're graduating masters people in wildlife, but practically they are just there.
Yeah, and so that tells me why I don't know. I saw something online, and the government was seeking for students who are willing to take programs on wildlife and forestry. It means that there's really a gap to be filled.
Yeah, we basically have quite a number of universities now in the country that are providing training in, let me call it the broad-based level of conservation.
Okay.
But again, all of this ends on the notebook, on the textbook. And you hardly find students who have moved into the wild to spend months and months and months to study wildlife. But here we are offering at Erudef University Institute, we are offering a 1-year specialized internship.
So where did you go to that 1 year? What you do? What will you be doing?
You visit our living laboratories.
Okay.
Our living laboratories are the national parks, are the protected areas, are nature reserves, where you have the opportunity to study one or several different species of wildlife of your choice.
Wow.
And so you cannot be a specialist, especially if you want to get engaged. For those who have been watching the National Geographic channel, if you want to do that such kind of high specialization, you must have a better mastery of the protected areas, the wildlife areas where these animals are found. And of course, it's our programs are just like any other programs where you spend 3-4 years, 5 years master's degree. So starting from the level of advanced level, if you want to get a master degree, you're going to spend 6 years. If you want to have a PhD, you're going to spend 9 years, 10 years, depending on the program.
On the program. So advanced level, how many years are you going to spend for those who maybe make it for their GCE?
If you want to do a degree, it's 4 years.
Okay.
Yes, plus 2 years masters. And if you simply want to remain a technician are those who are not conceiving. A technician are those who are not yet ready to move to the line of research. Then you spend either 2 years or you spend 3 years to come out with a national diploma or a senior diploma called HND, and then spend 4 years to graduate as a junior research assistant.
Wow.
And then by the time you spend 6 years, you become now a junior researcher. So we have the opportunity to train all these levels of people.
Wow.
And of course, if you are doing a PhD, you are welcome to join our research team, and we're going to build your capacity to become a full-fledged researcher. Wow, it sounds amazing. Now, this is maybe one question that will be in the mind of a young person or somebody who falls in love with this particular path or career path. Now, what are there some global opportunities that await anybody, like a student that maybe while going to school? Maybe I want to talk about global opportunities. I talk about fellowship. I talk about scholarships. I talk about
opportunities that people can grab while they study?
Yes, I think
Or projects that people can grab?
I have said this severally in many emissions, and I want to reiterate here that a lot of our Cameroonian students don't have the opportunity to connect globally.
Oh.
And that is very horrible. I would call it horrible. But I do think they have a gleam of opportunity through the Erudef University Institute, because we are going to link them up to all global opportunities.
Wow.
Currently, as we speak, we have close to 10, 15 different opportunities for funding for graduate students.
Okay.
If you are a graduate student in wildlife biology, in conservation, please get up to us. We have connections. We are the center of global connections, and we know where to get funding for you. I know one of the biggest problem with students is we want to fund our project.
Yeah, of
and
course.
at Erudef Center on Philanthropy and Civil Society, we are pulling together a huge database to support your work.
Wow.
And I think this work is not just only area of wildlife conservation. If you come into Erudef University, we connect you globally. And one of the things I've talked to a lot of people is that connections at the global level are not based on corruption. They are not based on bribery.
Some people are used.
They are based.
At this end, people are used to the bribery.
No.
Thing.
I am where I am. I have never given a single £5 to anybody, because I come from a very impoverished background. Right, my parents have never been even to primary school, and so I am where I am. Not because I had somebody, no. I think because I work hard and I moved into these connections. And these connections have kept me up to today. Let them come over to Erudef University, and we are going to help them, give them those connections. That's what you need. And your hard work gives you the results, and you can travel anywhere in the world.
Of course.
Anywhere in the world, and you enjoy your profession.
Of course. And
people get disappointed because when you moved probably to America through one of those nasty roads, you get stuck in one location. You become a nurse. You become a caretaker. A caregiver. All those things. You get stuck. All they can talk about is work and money. But in our own kind of work, we're talking about passion,
and there are
global experience, and you have the worth of what you want. The value of what you do, you get it.
You get it.
Yes.
Viewers, I told you today is going to be so much about tourism, wildlife, and we are grabbing a lot from Mr. Lisukembi, who is a conservation scientist and who has been in the field for quite a while. I'm telling you, this man has a lot inside. I want him to catch his breath a little. When we come back, we talk more on wildlife adventure. Please don't move over, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back from that wonderful break. And if you're just tuning in, this is Erudef University Forum, and it has been a wonderful time live on the studio, looking at our topic or discussion points for today. It's all about wildlife adventure. Have you ever felt like you're missing, your kids are missing out something, or as a young person, you feel like there's something you're missing out? Yeah, maybe go to see how animals actually behave in the wild or in the zoo or in the park. Or do you think that the country, your nation, Cameroon, is not doing enough to protect or preserve the wild, and you feel that if you're given an opportunity, you could do best? I think this is the time for us to hear more about wild. Now, sir, I just said something when I was talking. Somebody may have a dream, a dare to dream, of doing something new about the wild. What can you advise that person to do?
I think you could set up an ecotourism company.
Wow.
And
Eco-tourism company.
Yeah. If you do want to go higher in education, you graduate with the first degree or with a higher national diploma or a national diploma, you can pool your resources together as a team and set up an eco-tourism company. I think that brings in a lot of money.
How does that work? Like you just get up, you just set up an ecotourism, or like, you need some animals to put in a place? Or?
No, you have to view wildlife in the wild. You have to know the nature-based areas in Cameroon where you have wildlife. Previously, we had Korup National Park. If it was accessible, we have about 20-something national parks in Cameroon. We have about 3 to 4 wildlife sanctuaries in Cameroon. We have 4 reserves and nature reserves. We have zoos in Cameroon. I think all of these ones, stretching from north to south to east to west, are available, and tourism. If you do enough branding, you'll be receiving hundreds and hundreds of tourists. I think in 2010-2012, the government of Cameroon had set as targets to bring into Cameroon 1 million tourists a year. Can we?
And do you think they've met that target?
Assessments have not been properly done, and in 2014, the first setback was the Boko Haram crisis that started in the far north, and in 2017, the armed conflict in the Anglophone Cameroon, and I think that will have seriously hindered the getting to that target.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I think. The government has a good policy of attracting close to 1 million tourists a year. Eco-tours could benefit from that kind of a policy and to grow.
Okay, wow, that's really so interesting. And of course, viewers, if you're just tuning in, the program is live, and we are still looking at wildlife adventures. I understand that most of you watching, we might not have that opportunity to have experienced the wild, maybe either in a zoo or in a park, or have an opportunity like the students who are presently in the BLM Highlands to actually walk or see, maybe have an opportunity to see the wild, like see a gorilla or a chimpanzee. And of course, that's why we are here on today's program, to really look at some of these things, these gaps, and how we can fill them. Now, so we're almost getting closer to the end of the program, but we cannot stop by looking at how Erudef University Institute, what role does it play in wildlife adventure in the community? What has it done so far, and what is put in place, and what are the things that your institution is actually planning to get engaged in when it comes to wildlife adventure?
I think the Erudef University first rule is training.
Okay.
You have to train. Not just everybody gets involved in ecotourism. You need to have ecotourism experts.
Okay.
So they get trained, not just in ecotourism. You get trained on wildlife management. You want to set up an ecotour, means you need to have a mastery of the nation's wildlife.
Wow.
And we have been talking more about land, terrestrial wildlife. What about the oceans? We have wildlife in oceans. We have wildlife in aquatic areas. So I think the first thing is the young people who are interested in setting up ecotour businesses should be able to have a mastery of the national policy on wildlife and biodiversity. They should be able to receive adequate training.
Yeah. And
then connections. Who is going to visit what and where and from where? That kind of training can only be offered through the Erudef Biodiversity University.
Okay.
We have a program which is starting this October.
Okay.
Tourism and protected areas.
Okay, tourism and protected areas.
Yes. So I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for people who are interested to become a specialist in this.
Is it an HND program or?
Yes, we are going to start as HND program.
Okay.
But as I said, those who are already in master's level want to specialize in research in tourism and protected areas. We are also available to provide technical support and training on how this can be done. So basically, any young person at advanced level, at honorary level, was interested in becoming a specialist in this area of wildlife adventures needs to take a course in wildlife tourism, in protected areas, in biodiversity hotspots, and in nature management. Yeah, because all of these are part and parcel of the same pot.
Wow. Yeah, so there's something I saw today. This morning, I got up in the morning and I saw some people planting trees just by our house, and they say they are from the particular quarterhead or something. And I realized that these are older people. They were actually having a collaboration with an organization. And I saw the passion of an older person in environmental conservation. Now, your institution, we talk about our advanced level, the O levels. Now, with somebody who's already maybe grown up, maybe a mature person and old, maybe O level, and the person has this passion to maybe find himself in maybe wildlife or forestry conservation, and the person wants to pass through your institution, are there some opportunities for short-term programs, or is just for those who have advanced level?
Yeah, I think we could develop and deliver tailor-made short-term programs.
Okay.
2 weeks, 1 month, or it depends on what you want to do.
Okay. But how would that short-time study help that person?
You have the passion.
Yes.
Once you have passion,
yes,
you may not necessarily, because you don't want to become specialist. You don't want to be researchers. You are simply developing passion to get something done in a closer range. So going to get a master's degree, first degree, all those things are not needed. You simply need to have some minimum of background experience, and then you do your certification, and then you are set to go.
At that level, can you lead a project? Can you develop a project on your own? I mean, a small project.
It depends on,
like you realize there's a particular species in your locality, and you want to develop a project. Is it possible for you?
Normally, if you want to develop projects, if you don't have a previous experience in such things, you need to contact specialists.
Okay.
You need to look for
but that doesn't stop you from.
That doesn't stop you from taking the training.
Okay.
Because the more training you take, the better understanding you have for whatever thing you want to do.
Okay.
You don't just want to become something like a drunken person who simply says, okay, do it. Anything that comes in front of you, you say, okay, thank you. No, you should be able to provide direction to your projects.
Wow. Which means that it doesn't stop age. Like you're 40, you're 45. Maybe you belong to a council, or maybe you belong to a quarter-head council, and you having a passion for the environment. You still have an opportunity to explore.
Yeah, I used to tell my father, because my father
because these people I saw, they were doing it so passionately. Like I was like, oh, this way they can have more opportunity. They will love to explore.
Definitely. Age is not a limit.
All right.
What is more important is passion and commitment.
Okay.
Once you have those two variables mainstream into your system, then the rest can happen. The rest can happen. Yeah.
Wow. So it's just about passion, and the rest can happen. Now with Erudef University Institute, I understand that when we talk about university, some people are already scared. They talk about this in university. So me, I no get even O level. So does the Erudef University, for the environmental sake, for the sake of the conservation, for the sake of protecting the planet Earth, do you have any activity at the university that actually takes students out to raise awareness about the wild, environmental conservation?
As I said earlier, students are every day out in the field.
Wow.
In whatever thing you do, whether it's research or whatever thing, you first pass through awareness raising. Okay. So there's no specific thing that we are saying you're simply going to raise awareness.
Okay.
But for the sake of the public, we have a program called environmental education. Environmental education.
It's a good program. Anybody, okay.
Anybody.
From 5?
Anybody can be part of this program, environmental education. From Form 5, Upper 6, degree, PhD, any person who is interested in becoming a nature lover, a nature specialist, is allowed, is free to take this course.
Wow. So how long is this course like?
Again, it's tailor-made.
Okay.
So it's not fixed. Depending on your desires and what you want to do, we were able to develop something that's so specific to your case.
Wow. I think that's good news for those who are passionate about the planet Earth, you're passionate about the environment. It means you have an opportunity to take a program, environmental education, and I think that's the basics, eh? That's the basics, because you can start from there and.
It's the basics, and I want to say we can also deliver some of these programs online.
Okay.
You may not necessarily want to come on campus, but there are requirements that you must meet, such as a capstone project, that you must develop a project and support the project.
Okay, you must develop a project and support the project.
Yes,
Not like getting funders to support the project.
You should be able to have funders.
Okay.
You cannot succeed out there if you don't have funders in order to run what you want to do. So the university and its affiliated institutions are there to help you to get this done. Yeah.
Of course, the university are there to help you to get this done. And if you're watching us and you have this passion for the environment, I tell you, it is a very broad field with diverse opportunities, both nationally and globally. And that's why the lead or the CEO of Erudef is telling you that if you have if you're passionate about environmental education and maybe you don't have the advanced level, and you have this passion, you can start from environmental education, and that program from there, you can begin to fly your wings and go further and further and further. So we're almost coming to the end of the program, and maybe I wanted to ask you this last question before we say bye-bye to our viewers. We are basically we're looking at adventure, wildlife adventure, and if you could give one word, or if you could say one word that could help the tourism sector of, let's say, this part of the country boost or move forward, what would you say? What would be that word?
Proper planning.
Okay.
And advertisement. When you go to many of the countries of the West, they don't even know about Cameroon. So for you to attract worldwide tourists coming to Cameroon, you must first of all make proper planning, proper branding, and proper marketing. I think these are the essential prerequisites if you want to get engaged in wildlife adventures, wildlife tourism, in the global sense.
Wow.
You cannot sit here and think that without doing branding and marketing, you will receive tourists. We at Erudef NGO, we were already at close to 400 tourists when the crisis broke out. So, but then it involved us having partners in North America, in Europe, in Australia.
Wow.
So you must be ready to go through that kind of broad-based partnership, networking, and the rest.
Wow. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. You've heard it from the conservation scientist himself. And so our time is up, but we have this good news for all those who are lovers of environmental education, now for O-level holders and those who are candidates of GCE advanced level. There's going to be a boot camp. There's going to be a boot camp at Erudef University Institute. Maybe you want to tell our viewers briefly before we go.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think a lot of people don't know what they are going to do in university. Some are being pulled by their friends, by their parents, and so on. And even the parents don't know what it takes to become a competitive student in the university.
Yeah.
Many of these students and parents don't even know where to source funding. You were talking about issue of funding. While studying university, where to get grants to get your work going on. We need to relieve, we need to reduce the pains of parents from paying supporting fee projects from their pockets. And I think this boot camp is the opportunity to enlighten, to show, and to prepare these young students on how to better survive while in the university, where to get money, how to become competitive, how to access the different networks that increase your global connections, so that you are not looking like a disappointed student, a disappointed young man, young girl in Cameroon, where everything seems to have been on the other side. When I talk to young people in Cameroon, they say, no, Cameroon is not the place. to live. But wonderful opportunity exists globally if you are still based in Cameroon. I'm still here in Cameroon because I have those opportunities. And these our young people can still get the same opportunities. Whether you are in Dop, whether you are in Bansor, in Cambe, in Monemba, you are wherever, you will have access to these opportunities. And we're happy to offer you these opportunities because through these opportunities, you become proud of this country. Despite the problems.
That will be another topic for another day, where we'll begin to really explore those opportunities, and you see that there's no need to go out. All right, viewers, we've come to the end of the show, and just to conclude that this holiday boot camp is coming up next month, July. And if you're interested, please, the numbers on your screen, get to us, and we are going to tell you exactly how you can register to be part of that boot camp. It's going to be rich and massive. There's going to be a lot of trainings, a lot of things you're going to be learned there. Graphic design, environmental filmmaking and photography. There's so many things. You see how you can explore the global world. Please make sure you get the numbers on your screen and get to us so that we give you good details on how you can participate on this boot camp coming up next month, this year, 2024. I want to say a big thank you to you, sir, for coming again to educate us on things that matter in the society.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure being here always.
Yeah, we thank you so very much. Viewers, we've come to the very end of this episode of Erudef University Forum. I want to say a big thank you to the host or technical team of ITV to make this program a total success. Please, if you missed out this episode of the show, don't forget today at about 9:30 is the rebroadcast of the program. We will be here again, hopefully, God willing, next Monday with a brand new episode of the show. My name is Ndugo. I want to wish you a blissful week. Shalom and stay blessed.